This is going to be my recap of Kindred Season 1, Episode 8, the season finale, Alice. So it opens up in 1989, and we get like a brief flashback of Olivia. She's sitting down talking to her mother-in-law. She finds out that her husband already broke the news about the pregnancy. And, you know, she's kind of feeling some kind of way because she was like, well, we agreed to wait until at least he was out of medical school and that I had, accomplished some things. And his mother was basically... babies are a blessing, yada, yada. And so she ends up sending her to the store to pick something up. But before she left, she was like, you never know, like that baby might save your life one day.
Take my word. This baby, it might just save your life.
So we flash to the past where Olivia's on her way to the house to see how she can get Dana out. And then we see Kevin, he's still chasing Winnie, trying to catch up with Winnie. Sharon, it picks up where they left off, where Sharon was telling Dana that she's now owned by Tom. And of course, she was like, no, I'm not. And so she was like, I know that, but he told me, basically, she doesn't know where Kevin is. He told me to bring the food up and to break the news to you.
Where is he? Because I know. Well, Tom only had me come up here with this here food to break the news to you.
And so I would suggest, and then Sarah is telling her, I would suggest that you take yourself to wherever you guys took Winnie, and you should probably leave tonight. She eventually turned to leave, and Dana ended up saying, you have no idea who you're dealing with.
You have no idea who you're dealing with.
And I think Dana felt like she was trying to do to her what Dana had done to Winnie when she was telling Winnie that Tom's going to kill her and she needed to make a run for it. So we go back to Kevin and Winnie. He finally ends up catching up with Winnie. Winnie pulls this big knife on him, basically asking him, what do you want from her? Do he want the same thing that everybody else want? And he's basically saying that no, her safety, he just want her to be safe. And she was telling her not to go back to the house. It wasn't safe for her. And she was like, you know what, 5 days in that hole told me that I'm not going back to the house. I'm running. And so she asked for his clothes. Now, remember some episodes back, they cut her hair off to disguise her. And so she was like, well, they wanted me to look like a boy, so I'm going to need boy clothes. So he ends up giving her his clothes.
They cut my hair off to make me look like a boy. But I left them shirt and pants at that house. Give me your clothes.
So Dana's trying to sneak out. Nigel see her, and he's trying to figure out where she's going. And then he asked her about his dad, like, is he going to be home soon? And she tried to, like, brush it off, like, tell him something, oh, yeah, he'll be home later. But Nigel knew something was up. And he basically was like, you're a liar. You're lying to me. What is going on? He started getting loud. And so she ended up saying, no, let's have this discussion somewhere else. She's trying to get out of the house.
You are. You know something. Something's wrong. He's never not came home before then.
Kevin is now back at the cabin with Alice. And Alice trying to figure out why he half naked. And he basically said that when he took his clothes and she made a run for it, and before Alice is like, oh my god,
stole my clothes.
Where is she?
She escaped.
Oh no.
So he's putting on the clothes that Alice left behind, that Winnie left behind. Alice grabs the gun and he's trying to figure out why she got this huge gun. She said, Mama Olivia told me that I can't let nobody in or out. So they're now sitting there by the door and little Alice got the gun.
We're staying like this until Mama Olivia comes home.
Next morning, Olivia arrives. She ends up going to the smokehouse. And she wanted Sarah to see if Carrie would go into the house to get Dana out. And then she finds out that Sarah never really liked, doesn't like Dana, and she never really liked Olivia. She always thought that they were troublemakers.
You know, I never really liked her.
And she basically said that before you showed up, everything was going fine, or people had a chance. And she was trying to figure out, what are you talking about? And remember in the previous episode where Rufus was telling Dana about the number of miscarriages that his mother had, 5 miscarriages that she had before she had Rufus. And we find out Sarah basically admits that she was killing the babies.
Don't you think Margaret lost all 5 of them babies in a row for nothing?
And she was like, things were going great until you showed up and you had to basically blame her for saving Rufus. Now, remember previous episodes, Dana was trying to figure out like the figure she saw, because they never really figured out who that was. It was Sarah. Sarah had snuck into his nursery and turned him over, and then it was going to make it look like an accident, like he had just turned over in the night and just suffocated.
And if you would have just left well enough alone, Rufus would have died in that crib. And
so Olivia is just appalled. So she was then asking her, where's Dana? She said, I told her to make a run for it, so she's probably wherever you guys held Winnie. And so based on Olivia's expression, she was like, I knew you had something to do with this. Tom shows up and he was like, something to do with what? So they end up having to come up with something on the fly, and she was basically saying, "Oh, it was just idle gossip, chit chat that we were talking about." And then he asked Olivia why she was there so early, and she was like, "Oh, I just came to get some of Sarah's crisp or snack cakes or something."
What are you doing here so early?
I just came through to get a few packets of Sarah's crisps.
And so he asked about Dana, and she basically said that, oh, she could be at Wendy's cabin because that's where she liked to hide out when she was trying to get out of doing work. And so they Tom left to go to see if Dana was there. Olivia and Sarah traded words, and she basically told Sarah that she should be ashamed of herself. And she was like, "I don't have any use for shame. I'm stuck in this cookhouse day in and day out, and you're free, and you've always been free."
What am I gonna do with shame when my life is confined to this cookhouse day in and day out? You free.
And then she basically said, "You need to get Dana, and y'all need to leave Maryland." So unfortunately, Sarah thought that Dana left and she was like halfway to Olivia's, but she wasn't. She was actually in Winnie's cabin. So Tom goes in, he sees Olivia, he sees that she got some of his books. He's mad that she stole his books and that she's reading. She remember the previous conversation she had with the sister-in-law, basically called him illiterate. She offered to help him read. He got pissed, dragged her out to the barn, whipped her. Olivia ends up laying on top of her. Of course, she's in a state of high stress and anxiety, and so she jumps and she takes Olivia with her. And of course, Tom sees this, and now he's trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Then we go fast forward. Then we go back to the opening in episode 1 where she wakes up on the ground and she's calling for Kevin, and she finally comes to the realization that she jumped and she left Kevin in the past. Kevin's sister. So you have Kevin's sister trying to find him. You have the neighbor still looking at the house because she thinks something is up.
Honey, please come to bed. You have to get at least some sleep.
The next thing you know, of course, the scene in the first episode where the cops are there, she finally let them in, and everything was going fine until she kind of backed against the wall, and she left blood on the wall. So now they're trying to take her to the hospital.
Turn around for us, Miss James.
I'm okay.
Eventually, Denise arrives. Kevin's sister arrives. And she ends up throwing everybody out, basically saying that she's fine, you have no right to be here. Your brother could be, because she actually admitted that her brother has a substance abuse issue and sometimes he can become violent. And so they basically at this point think Kevin did this to her. And she basically threw everybody out. Denise threw everybody out.
You called the police? Okay. Everyone's got to go.
Tom ends up going to Olivia's cabin where he sees Kevin, and he's like, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. This is when Kevin finds out that Dana jumped and took Olivia with her, and he's now stuck there, at least for the time being.
What is this witchcraft? Tell me how they did it.
Did what?
Disappear.
Dana, and she's still trying to figure out what's going on, what happened to her back. She was like, I got whipped.
What happened to you?
I was whipped.
And she ended up saying, well, okay, what if you look in the family Bible? Because she told her about the connection between Rufus and Carrie. And what they found out when they looked at the family Bible, her ancestor isn't Carrie, her ancestor is actually Alice.
Alice.
So, while they're looking in the Bible, there was a brief flash where Kevin, he's now like on horseback, he's all done up. I guess Tom gave him some position, and he sees like a chain gang. You have the slaves all chained and walking, and somebody said, "Well, do you see something you like?" And he said, "No, not at all." And then you noticed that something caught his eye. It was Sabine. So I'm thinking, "Oh, I wonder if he's gonna get Sabine." He didn't. But then he tells Alice, "We need to hurry up and get home before it gets dark." And you realize that Alice is a young lady now. She's older.
Alice, keep up. We gotta get back before sundown.
And then, so we flash back to the present, and Dana's still trying to figure out how to go back. While she's trying to figure that out, Denise gets a phone call telling her that LAPD found Olivia.
Just got off the phone with them. They found Olivia.
Olivia?
And so that's pretty much how this episode ends.